Hello and welcome to my channel. This is your Megas with PCATTACK, and today I'm actually going to do my comparison video of the Sennheiser HD600 versus the Bluedio UFO headphones. Without further ado, let's get into the comparison and review. Once again, let's start off with build quality. HD600s, build quality, it's great. They feel a little cheap, but that's subjective to opinion, and this metal pieces was holding it together, so I just maybe we get a long lasting life. I know people that own this for almost a decade, so they have no problems. Ear cushions will give out, but after you wear them for a while, it's going to happen. Same thing with cushions in a seat, or a cushion in anything. After so much wear, they're going to give out, and then you're going to have to replace them. And they're not expensive replacement for cushions. You go anywhere, buy some cushions. I think that some decent pair is going to be around 40 bucks. Maybe give or take $10 right there, depending on where you buy it from or what type you're looking for. Alright, comfort-wise, well, actually forgot about this. Build qualities of the UFO, so far, 0 complaints. Love the build quality. This is actually metal on the inside. As you can see, they're really bendable, flexible, and adjustable to almost any hair cup or anything like that. So I actually like the build quality of these. That is the only pretty much advantage besides clarity of mids and highs I gave this over the R Legends. But bass wise, R Legends has still the best bass I've heard on any headphones, especially if you use the EQ that's tailored towards bass I've ever heard in my life. And I've heard a ton of headphones, and though the bass on those R Legends are leagues above everything else I've ever heard. But mids and highs sound better on these than the R Legends. But back to subject. Let's compare sound with music first, because that's what you're looking at these for. Music. Music-wise, this is going to be very interesting because this is a $200 pair of headphones. Well, the MSRP says $400, but they're $200 almost no matter where you find them. And these, once again, some people find them for $200. What I paid is $350. MSRP is $500. And these are wired compared to wireless. But you can wire these in. This is, I think, a 30 ohm impedance, and this one's a 300 ohm impedance. Pretty much 10 times the ohm impedance of the headphones to drive them. I've had these UFOs for 2.5 months now. And I've had these, HD600s for over a month. What I could say is mids and highs are clear on these, especially with the proper DAC cam. They're clear, they're cleaner, they're more pronounced. You can't beat these headphones, especially with the DAC cam. Bass wise, hands down, the UFOs are gonna win. It's hands down, not even close. These have a ton of bass, especially if you turn on your 3D mode. Then the bass almost doubles in amplification. So you gotta remember what's driving these. I think that these are 50mm or 40mm drivers inside these. This one has two 50mm drivers, one per each ear. Then it's 6 total 23mm drivers, 3 per ear. So it's a total of 4 drivers in this ear and 4 drivers in this ear for better sound separation, which is magnificent. The reason being is because if you listen to these, you're going to start to hear effects in songs. You're going to start to hear instruments, and every effect is going to sound the way it's supposed to. And the instruments are going to be at the proper level. These, I cannot believe it. They did the exact same thing for, same thing, instrument separation, sound separation, level balance. Everything sounded like it was supposed to. Granted, this one, once again, clarity wise, not even close. This is a lot clearer. Vocal wise, these are going to sound a whole lot more natural. A whole lot. It's going to pretty much sound like that person would sound in real life. I'm able to tell more detail of what they're doing and where they're at inside these headphones than I am with the UFOs. But once again, when them effects are fading from left to right, or if it's supposed to be in your left ear and it's supposed to be low in your left ear and a different effect in your right ear, and even in the level of how every instrument should be played every instrument is played between, you know, let's say your guitar is at 10 decibels. It's just an example. I'm not a sound geek or that technical in sound. But let's just say, you know, your guitar is at 10 decibels. You got another instrument like your cymbals is at 15 decibels. Let's say you got another instrument at 13 decibels, and you got the vocals at around 25 decibel level. You will hear everything at that exact level on both these headphones. I can't even say that about the M50Xs. M50Xs, you hear everything, but some of the EQs, you know, when people put the sound effects in, they don't come out exactly like reference. Not exactly reference. Some things don't. Most things do. Especially when you hear them out of these with a proper DAC amp. You will start to understand what these are missing. For mixing and mastering, at the end of the day, get you some speakers. I mean, get you some JBLs or some Rockets. You know, you're going to need those. Some monitors. Some monitor speakers is what you need. Get you a separate subwoofer. No headphones is going to compare to that. You only get headphones for, once again, people use headphones, so you're going to get a few headphones to actually try them out on to hear how it sounds in your headphones. But for open room environment, nothing's going to, this simulates open room environment, but simulation isn't the same as the real thing. So I will always say have you a good pair of monitors. But as I said, once what I heard on here, I heard on there. Exactly in the same way. This was very, very close. But these two, exactly the same way, this was just clear. A lot clearer. A lot more pronounced and a lot more natural. These, the UFOs, are not as natural, but everything came in really, really good. I mean, for me personally, when I buy headphones, if there's 10 instruments or, you know, 50 instruments or 20 instruments playing inside a song or 20 effects or whatever you want to say, there's 20 different tracks playing. I want to hear every one of the 20 tracks at the level they're supposed to be at. And these two headphones do a great job at that. I heard everything. And for me personally, if there's 20 tracks playing, but I only hear 18 tracks out of the 20, I don't like, you know, that's not my preferred headphones. To me, those are garbage. If you can't hear everything that's in the song, then you're not listening to the song. You're listening to whatever your headphones did, like a remix or a remake. So your headphones is taken away from your experience. The most important thing to me in headphones is actually being able to distinguish every track that's in that song that you're supposed to hear. That's crucial to me in headphones, especially when I listen to music, because I like to listen to my music. I like to hear everything like I'm supposed to hear it. And these headphones, which is important, you do hear everything. There's just a few effects that's EQ. These are EQ'd effects, not stroke instrument tracks, that don't fade from left to right properly. And it's per song basis. You know, I only found that problem in like probably about 1 or 2 songs out of the 50 something that I listened to on these headphones. I probably listened to more than that. But, you know, in just comparing, it takes a long time to compare sound between all these headphones. But for music-wise, portability and everything like that, my personal preference of headphones are the UFOs. I like the UFOs a lot. You know, I like the portability a lot. But when I'm at home and, you know, if I'm about to put up a video or if I'm editing sound or something like that, HD600s all the way. Especially with a DAC amp. Proper DAC amp, not to compare to these. I mean, these win. But, as I said, taking these outside, problem. Another advantage, I like open back. And I love the cloth. You know, this is that fake plastic, leather, false, whatever you want to call that. And these are closed back, as you can see. Those are not open back headphones. So, once again, after time period, you're going to get ear fatigue. And another thing is sound fatigue starts to kick in also with these after a long period of time, depending on your decibel level. If you have it at a proper decibel level, the sound may not bother you. So those are pretty much really good headphones. Now, on to movies. For movies, UFOs. Reason why I'm saying UFOs again is because that 3D sound option, once you turn that on, It makes you sound like you're at an IMAX theater. I mean, it's no other way to put it. It's just, everything is just wow. Like if you went to a movie theater and you heard the sound, if you turn that 3D audio on, and the way you turn it on is by holding the volume until it just makes like a little beep sound, and then it just comes on. You notice it right away. That sounds like I'm in the theater when I'm listening to movies. I mean, wow, it really immersed me into my movies. So hands down, these are my choice of headphones to go to for movies. For games, gun sound more. If it was really a really recorded gun sound with a high fidelity mic, they would sound better on these. You know, natural sounds and natural vocals will always sound cleaner and clearer on HD600s. Everything else, Bluedio UFOs. Two ways you connect this. You connect it through an Astro mix amp or some type of mix amp wired, or if you have a Bluetooth setup inside your computer, go Bluetooth. Use the Bluetooth 4.1 technology that's in here, and that way you can actually activate your 3D sound. If not, you're gonna wire it in to like a mix amp or something of the sort. EQ it out to amplify your bass, because when you wire it, 3D sound goes away. You don't have that option anymore. So you're gonna want to EQ it out to, you know, bring your bass back up to adequate levels, and you know, get your V shape going on. And that's what I use. My EQ is in the shape of a V, so that's what I prefer. And as I said, movies and games, this is what I prefer. Everything sounds really great. I mean, loud. They're so good that if it wasn't for me being able to wear these for long periods of time, I wouldn't have got the Astros. I only got the Astros because of, you know, as I said, long period of time wearing. Astro wins, comfortability and everything. So, you know, plus I don't have to wear these all the time. Drain the battery. And yeah, you can use them while you charge them, but why? You know, take some wear and tear off of those headphones. But overall, my choice of headphones, once again, it's going to depend on what you're going to use it for. If you're going to do mixing and mastering, you know, anything technical on the sound side, hands down, without a question, this wins. But if you want to listen and enjoy music, you know, if you want to hear every track that's in a song, you know, everything at the levels that it's supposed to be at, these are going to do the job. It's really, if you're not into mixing and mastering or anything like that technical aspect, you don't need to buy these. In my personal opinion, these are the ones I use on a daily basis. These are my daily drivers. These are what I like. And that's just a personal preference. But for mixing and mastering or anything like that, these are what I like. You know, it's a headphone for a job. That's why I will always tell people, if you're doing that type of work, have more than one headphones, and have your headphones for the purpose that you're going to use them for. You know, as I said, these fold up. Come inside the carrying case right here. Take them with you. I even have another pair over there. That's how much I like them. I got two pair. One go out, one die or break or something like that. I got another pair right there. You know, or if I have a friend over or something like that and they want to hear what I'm gaming on or what I'm listening to or something like that, they can hear it like I'm hearing it on the UFOs. Now, a lot of my friends love the UFOs, so this is the headphones that I use the most right here. Between this and my Astro, I pretty much got a really good setup right going on, and I got these for mixing, mastering, or technical work. So, if you guys want to see some more comparisons of this with other headphones, you know, just leave it below. And this will pertain to the R Plus Legend also. You know, same advantages and disadvantages between this and the R Plus Legends or the R Plus whatever. So, you know, I shouldn't need to do a video of that. But if you want it, just leave it in the comment below. Thumbs up if you like the video. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys, and see you later.